All right, here we go. My name's Jeff Kane. You're listening to episode 492 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Good boy, my ass.
A little while ago, I was over at Sam's Club buying gas, filling my tank up for the week, and Tony had mentioned earlier that there were supposed to be snow squalls. They were calling for snow squalls. Could lead to a, quote, whiteout situation. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like cynical. I'm like, okay. She goes, I don't like that kind of stuff. I said, that'll be all right. It'll be fine. She goes, I need to go out though. I got some errands to run. I said, I'll go. I'll drive. Don't worry about it. I said, I'm serious. Don't worry about it. But of course she did worry about it. But I was downplaying it all. So we went over to Staples, and she returned whatever she bought. And I was checking out their laptops. What in the world? The prices are so low. What has happened? I just bought a laptop not too long ago. Well, probably a year ago. And I paid like $700 for that thing. I don't know. I think, and I thought I got a really good deal on it. Now they're like $300. I think I saw the exact same laptop that I bought for like $700 a year ago was on sale for $299.99. Like, what the? I had no idea that computers had gone down that. Anyway, I was kind of surprised by that. I don't look at stuff like that anymore. Staples, I don't like going in there. I don't know why. This makes me sad. I don't know what the hell. And we were by Best Buy, I'm like, how are they still in business? What do they sell? What do they sell in there? Like computers and TVs and what, drones? Is that what it is? Is that the three things they sell? Computers, TVs, and drones? I don't know. I haven't been in that. I haven't been in Best Buy in, I don't know. It's been a long time, I don't go in there. They used to have, back when they had CDs and stuff, I used to go in there all the time. They had good prices on CDs. But anyway, so we went to Staples. We did all that business. She returned her item, and I said, let's go. I'm gonna get gas since we're by Sam's. Sam's is right down the road. So I went down there, and I pulled up to the pump, and as soon as I got out, the wind started picking up, and I put my card in, my Sam's card, and by the time I plucked the Sam's card back out, the wind was howling. It was, I don't know how fast it was. It had to be at least 40 miles an hour. And that's a substantial. It was like really hard, blowing really hard. And it was snowing, these little hard pellets, and they were peppering my face. My tender cheeks were getting pelted by these projectiles. And I was going, ow, ow. And people were like jumping back into their cars. It was ridiculous. I'm not kidding. This shit was incredible. It was like blowing so hard. I thought something was going to go flying through the air and just go right through me, just like spear right through my heart. I don't know, a piece of wood or something. It's something. I thought some shit was going to go airborne out there. It was like really, really. It was snowing sideways and at a great propulsion, And so I got back and my contacts were all messed up because there's dust out there. Of course, it's getting into my eyes, and I'm like, my eyes are watering. I was like, this sucks, and I couldn't even pull the door closed. I jumped back in the car, and I had to use both hands to pull the door closed because the wind was so heavy. I couldn't pull it closed with one arm. I was like, what the hell? Tony's over there laughing. I says, what the hell's my tender cheeks? So then we pulled around and parked in the parking lot, and I pulled myself together. I was cold. It was freezing. I was getting my core temperature back to normal, and getting my eyes back, back under control. And we were there for maybe, I don't know, parked there for like 5 minutes or something, and then we left. Went to the grocery store, and the streets were all covered, but like instantly it just stopped. Like basically when I pulled out of that parking spot. So we're talking like 10 minutes total, maybe. It was over. It was just completely gone. It was a hellacious 10 minutes, and the streets were covered in snow, which makes Tony, nervous. I said it'll be fine. I said it was like 45 degrees earlier. I said it'll be fine. And by the time we left Wegmans, it was like the streets were just wet. Everything was, didn't even last. But what in the finger snapping, knuckle cracking, hand wringing shit's going on here? That thing was crazy. It was crazy and real fast, wild. Anyway, so that happened. Also, last night I watched the finale of Stranger Things. You know this show, this Stranger Things? I like when people say stuff like that, when it's like something that's like real common, and they're like, they don't know anything. This show, I think it's called Stranger Things. Now, I've watched this thing from the beginning. It's not my favorite. It's not. I don't think it's bad or anything. It's just not my favorite. That's not my wheelhouse. What I like about it. It's the '80s, set in the '80s. It's filmed like and written like a vintage Steven Spielberg movie. I like all that stuff, and I like the main characters. Nobody on there annoys me really. I like the interactions between the characters and stuff. I don't like all the monster stuff. It's not that it scares me or anything. It's just not something I'm interested in. It's not really something I like. I don't know. It's just not something I'm super interested. It's not really my thing. I don't like superhero movies, and I don't like adventure, like these adventure films and stuff where there's just car chases and explosions and shit. It's not really that's not really my thing. I mean, I'm not above it. That's just not really something. I don't find that all that entertaining. So all the monster stuff, the upside down stuff, so, take it or leave it. But anyway, I liked it well enough. I watched all 5 seasons. So finally, I watched the last one. It was all right. It was good. I mean, I don't think it was a disaster or anything. I don't think it was great either. I mean, the story was wrapped up. I think it was 2 hours and 8 minutes, I think. The story was wrapped up by, I don't know, hour and a half. Maybe at the hour and a half, what do you call it? The hour and a half mark of that film or that episode. It was all wrapped up. All right, it was over. But then the screen went black. And then it said 18 months later. And then they spent the next 40 minutes or so just talking about, just wrapping up, wrapping it up, like tying up loose ends. It was pretty good. I mean, some of it was melodramatic. There's a lot of hugging, a lot of learning. No, a lot of hugging. And probably a lot of learning too. But, they wrapped it up and... and then they threw a little curveball in there. I'm not going to talk about it, but in case you haven't watched it yet. But, they threw a little curveball in there to make you think, well, I don't know, what I just saw happen, did that really happen? That kind of thing. So it kind of leaves a little aspect of it kind of ambiguous. So anyway, I thought it was pretty good. Wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, and it wasn't the best either. I mean, it's a good show, but it's not in the realm of like Breaking Bad or Sopranos or anything like that. It's not on that level. But it was good. I'm glad I watched it. It was entertaining. I enjoyed the characters, liked the setting, and good stuff. There's some humor in it. anyway, I'd be interested in hearing what you thought about it. If you want to give me a call, just give me a call. 570-290-8151. Let's see. I had a few things jotted down. It's been a rough week. I don't really want to get into it. I won't bore you with it, but it's been a rough week for me. I was going to make this one a Rocky story. I was going to tell the story. My friend Rocky, who was a friend in Dunbar back in the day, I don't know. I've known him pretty much since I was like in grade school. He was 1 year ahead of me in school, but our birthdays were almost exactly the same. I think we're like a month apart, but we graduated at different years. Like the cutoff was like right in between us. But anyway, so he was one of the youngest people in his class, and I was one of the oldest. We're almost exactly the same age, and we graduated in different years. But anyway, I knew him and like all through school, and we became friends later. Like maybe I don't know, late junior high, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. And then we became drinking buddies. He was kind of a maniac, He was always with us, not always, but when he was with us, it seemed like something crazy happened, He was that guy, and everything, he was I don't know, maniac, kind of, I don't know. He wasn't crazy. He's a good guy, but he was, he brought mayhem to the proceedings, So I was going to tell you, I was going to make a whole episode about telling stories about Rocky, but I thought, people might think he's like passed away or something. He's, as far as I know, he's still kicking. I think he lives in Morgantown. I don't talk to him much. He's not. I tried to get him to come on this podcast a couple times. He was like, "No, I'm not doing that." But he's still around. So I don't want to do. I might just tell you some Rocky stories as we go. This is stuff from back when I was in high school, basically, and directly after, or a few years after that. Mostly alcohol. There's alcohol involved. Not always, but mostly, And today I'm going to tell you one. It's about one day when we were in college. We went to college at West Virginia State. We were at college together, and I used to give him a ride to work, or I used to give him a ride to school. And one day I left, and I went over to his house. He's like, let's just blow this off today or something. Maybe we had it prearranged. I don't know. And we didn't go to school. We just stayed at his house, and we had vodka, which I don't drink. I'm not a liquor. I don't. It's not something I ever. It's never been something I liked. Strictly beer. But we were drinking vodka and Five Alive. We made like a pitcher of Five Alive and poured a bunch of vodka in there and just mixed it up and was sitting there drinking it at his kitchen table at his house. His mother was at work and his sister was in school. And so we had the house to ourselves. We were just sitting in there drinking and stuff when we were supposed to be at college, And he got smashed. Like I don't even remember even. It's like it didn't even affect me. I don't know why. Because that's not really my thing, liquor. But I drank. I was drinking as much as he was, but I didn't get. He got drunk, like he was really drunk. And at one point he went over there and he was in his living room. And he was trying to open the sliding glass door to go out on the patio. And he was having trouble with it. He was yanking on it. He had the thing like off the track. It was like half up. The thing was like all cockeyed, and it wouldn't move along the track, And he was pulling on it real hard, and he pulled on it, and it just snapped. The handle just snapped off. It snapped off. The door's like on a slant, sliding glass door. So he snaps the handle off, and he stumbles backwards. and knocks over this big bookshelf that had a whole bunch of plants on it, like potted plants. He stumbles into that thing, knocks it over. So all these plants are spilled in the middle of the living room floor. There's dirt everywhere. It's like all this black potting soil type stuff. It's all over the living room. I'm like, oh my God, the hell, you know? He's like, you got to help me clean this up, Jeff. So I said, yeah, I'll help you, of course. You know, I went over there and we started scooping the dirt up. And he was like, oh, screw this. I'll just vacuum it up. I was like, you can't vacuum. It's like thick. It was like thick layers of dirt. It's like inches thick. I said, you can't vacuum this stuff up, Rocky. He goes, fuck you, Jeff. I'm like, all right, pushing your luck there, buddy. You know? And he goes, I'm just going to vacuum it. So he goes and gets the vacuum cleaner out of the closet and plugs it in and starts vacuuming right over these big mounds of dirt, right? It's way too much. Instantly, the thing's making all kinds of rackets, making all kinds of noise. There's smoke rolling off of it. Some big piece of metal came off the bottom of the thing. The thing's making clanking noises. And I was like, what the hell, Rock? You're going to burn the house down. He was like, fuck you. I said, all right, I'm done. I said, you're on your own, buddy. You know, one fuck you is, you know, I'll let that slide. The second one, you know, I'm out of here. You're on your own. You're acting like a lunatic, you know. He was acting crazy. So I just said, see ya, you know, and I left. And when I went home, and when I parked in. I don't remember. I think I was going to park on the driveway, but there was a police car on the driveway. I'm like, what the? I was like, what the hell? So what happened? Why are the police here? Did Rocky die? That's what I was like, did something happen? Did he burn the house down? What happened? How could they already be here? It was like seconds ago when I left his house. So I was like, you know, I felt like I was a little bit buzzed, of course, but I wasn't anything like him. I thought I'll be all right. So I went in there, and there were two policemen in there with my mom and my brother, and they were talking about, they said somebody broke in our house during the day. And they stole my brother's, he had a paper route, stole his collection money, which he hid in a specific place. It wasn't just laying out on a table. It was hidden. And stole our Intellivision console and all our Intellivision games, including my favorite, Astro Smash and Night Stalker, you know, Burger Time, all the classics. Took them all. Somebody broke in there. They didn't break in. They came in because the doors were unlocked. You know, we didn't lock the doors back in those days. They just came in there during the day and went straight to that money. So somebody that knew something, right? This isn't just some guy that wandered in off the street, because they knew exactly where to go. All right. Took all this shit out of there, stole a bunch of stuff from us. And the police were there, and they were like, do you know anything about it? Do you have any ideas about this? I said, no, I was at school all day. School. And they're like, huh. So they took down all the information and left, and they said they would, they'd look into it, but they said, we probably won't be able to figure it out, but, we'll make a police report on it and all this stuff. And my mom was like, what, do you have any idea? After they left, she was like, do you have any idea who could have done this? I said, no. Why would you think she goes, you think Rocky? I said, Rocky? I said, no. There's absolutely no way. She goes, I think he does drugs. I said, well, that's true, but he's not, he's kind of a lunatic sometimes, but he's not evil. He's a good guy. He's not some thief. He's just he brings mayhem to the festivities. He's not mean. He's a good guy. He really is. She's like, I don't know about that. I said, I do. I'm with him all the time. I said, I was with him all day. I said, it was not Rocky. All right. She goes, I don't know. She for the rest of her, well, she probably doesn't even remember. Her memory's not great anymore, but she probably doesn't even remember the happening now. But up until just, whenever her memory started fading a little bit, she always thought it was Rocky. I said, Rocky was with me all day. It was not him. And second of all, he's not like that. He's not a thief. What the heck? What the heck? There's jumping to conclusions. It's irritating. It irritated me, But anyway, so that all happened in the same day. And then at 8 o'clock that night, the phone rang. I said, I think my mom answered it. She goes, Jeff, Rocky's on the phone. I was like, oh boy. So I got on the phone and he goes, when you coming to get me? We're going to be late. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, we're going to be late for school. You're supposed to be here by now. I said, it's night. What the hell it's 8 o'clock at night. It's not 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, I think you need to go to bed. I said, I don't know what the hell. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, I need to be there. I'm going to fail. I said, Rocky, it's 8 o'clock in the p.m. Just go to bed. Sheesh. So anyway, that's what that's one story. I got a million of them. The guy's a complete. I don't know. He made he added to every. He added to every experience, It seemed like he wasn't like the guy that I drank with the most, but when he was there, I think he have the most stories from him for some reason, Anyway, so that was one of them. I have a million others. Maybe I'll insert one every once in a while, another Rocky story into the mix. Some of them I wrote about a bunch of them on my website, but there's some of them I didn't write about. So maybe I'll make that a feature, the Rocky stories every once in a while. I wish I could get him to come on here. He says he doesn't remember anything. Says he doesn't remember anything before the year 2000. I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I said, why? He goes, I don't know. I said, okay. I don't know. He claims that he doesn't remember anything. I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, so that's that. And also I had written down, we'll talk about, at my job, I've been in a leadership position there for 18 years. And there's people call off, employees call off all the time. And some of I jotted down some of the most ridiculous excuses that people have had that I can remember. I guarantee there's 100 others that I totally have forgotten, or they might pop into my head later. But I did jot down a few that these are actual call-offs I took that I dealt with personally, right? Over the last 18, 19 years. I had a guy call off one night, said that he was in a car wreck. Both of his feet were swollen, and he couldn't get his shoes on. He's in a car wreck, his feet are swollen, and he can't get his shoes on. So there's so much detail in there. That's not something you could really make up. I can't get my shoes on. All right. We used to have a system where you just call like an extension at our job, and it was just for our department. It wasn't for the whole place. But now we have some fancy thing where you call an 800 number, and I don't know, somebody monitors it in India or something. I don't know. And then they publish it on some kind of a screen, and everybody can access it. But in the old days, you literally just call it an extension at our job, and I could listen to the recordings, right? And so one night I was listening to them, and there was some woman on there, and I don't want to say her name, the employee's name, but it was her girlfriend. Her girlfriend was calling off for this other woman, right? She goes, "This is so-and-so's girlfriend, whatever her name was. She won't be in tonight because she's got terrible, terrible diarrhea." Right? So she's in no condition to come to work. So she's not going to be at work tonight, right? So then hear her hang up. It was back when people had landlines, I guess. This is before cell phone. Well, people had cell phones, but people still had landlines too. So she hung up the phone, but it didn't disconnect, so you could still hear. And you could hear the girl who reported to me, right? And she goes, "What the hell? You told Jeff that I have diarrhea? You bitch!" And then like a whole room full of sound like drunken girls laughing hysterically. "You told him I had diarrhea? Terrible, terrible diarrhea." And then so I hit save for later on that one. And when she came in, I said, "Come over here, I want to talk to you." And I played it for her, and she was like, "Oh, sorry about that." I said, "So you weren't sick, right?" So anyway, I didn't do anything to her, but I wanted her to know I knew about it. So she was like, "You told Jeff I have diarrhea? You bitch!" Right? That was pretty funny. I had a guy call off saying that a bill collector had contacted him and was being very, very forceful, and he was so upset that he's unable to work. It upset him so much that he's unable to work. Say, bill collector was being very forceful with him. I was like, if you can't pay your bills, and the solution is don't go to work. So I'm thinking, but I was like, all right, well, keep me updated on this terrible, terrible tragedy. A guy, I swear this is true, a guy called me one time and told me that he wouldn't be able to come to work because he fell through the floor of his mobile home. He was a portly gentleman, not unlike your corpulent correspondent. He was in, I said, "What room were you in?" He goes, He goes, "I don't know how that matters, but I was in the laundry room." I was like, I don't want to picture it. He goes, I was putting clothes in the washer, and the floor collapsed, and I was stuck at waist level. I was like laughing, of course. I mean, how could you not laugh at that? And I said, "All right, you all right?" He goes, "I'm a little sore." I said, "Yeah, I imagine." But so that happened. Fell through the floor of his mobile home. Let's see what else. I had multiple women tell me they had I don't know. Do I need to know this level of information? I'm having a heavy flow day and stuff like this. I'm like, why? Why are you telling me this? Just tell me you don't feel well or whatever, or I won't be in. I don't even know why. I don't even need to know the reason why. Just say I'm not going to be able to come in today. I don't need to know about heavy flow, any of this. I mean, that happened a lot. I had a guy who called off 3 days in a row because after Trump won the election in 2016, he was so despondent and he couldn't get out of bed. Like, what a wiener. Let's see. Oh, this is a classic. This guy called. Okay, he called off, and I know. And then when he came back, I said, "You all right? What happened the other day?" He goes, "Oh my God, terrible! It was terrible." He goes, "I went out and I was just going to have a few drinks with some friends." Yeah, I said, "That's the way it starts." Yeah, I was just going to have a few drinks, and I went over. I stopped and bought gas, filled my tank up with gas, headed over to the bar. And next thing I know, my girlfriend's waking me up, and I'm on the front lawn. I'm on the front lawn in front of our house. My girlfriend's waking me up, and it's the middle of the night. It's like 4:00 in the morning or something. And I go inside, and I'm walking up the steps, and there's like I'm trailing like a trail of cigarettes. They're falling off of me somewhere. I don't even smoke. There was like a trail of cigarettes all up the stairs. And he went upstairs and slept it off. And I guess he called off the next day. And then he said he went out to his car the next morning because he was freaked out. Like he had no recollection of how he got home. He didn't have any memory of anything that happened. He was like, what if there's like blood on the on the grill of the thing, like human hair and blood. He's like, what? I don't know what happened. Like, hopefully the car's not damaged in any way. So he goes up there and he's inspecting the car. Everything looks fine. He gets in it, and all the gas, he just filled the tank on his way to the bar. He said the gas tank was empty. It was almost empty. He had no memory of where he'd been or how all that gas had been run out. And in the back seat, he found a cell phone. He had no idea whose it was, and there was a picture of a guy on it, on the lock screen, of some guy with dreadlocks. He had no idea who this guy is. He never found out. I was like, dude. I said, I'm not in no position to give you life advice, but you might want to take it down about 5-6 notches. He goes, oh, that's terrible. I'm never doing that again. I said, So anyway, that one at least I found to be wildly entertaining. What the hell? God. Let's see. I've had people say they shit themselves. I remember a woman called me. She goes, I have to go home. She goes, I have to go back. I have to turn around and go back. I'm on my way to work, but I'm going to be late now. I have to go back. I said, you all right? She goes, yeah, I just shit myself. I was like, all right, well, I didn't really need to know that, but, well, thank you. Good luck. Like, what the? I just shit myself on the way to work. What? I don't know. And I also had, this is kind of sad, there was this guy that worked there who had a drinking problem, and he was calling off all the time, and we ended up firing him, and because his attendance, and so he was gone. He had already been terminated, right? But he was still calling off, like he didn't even work there anymore. He was calling the call-off line. I don't know, whatever. So anyway, those are a few that popped into my head. There's probably dozens more. Those are kind of funny. Some of them. Most of those are from a long time ago. I wouldn't put anything current. All those people are gone. None of those people that I talked about actually work there anymore. But it's good stuff. I wish I'd have kept a journal the whole time I worked there. The place is wild. But anyway, that's it. I think that's enough for one day. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to call it a day. So if you want to call me up and tell me about Stranger Things, or if you have any call off stories to tell me, or anything else that's on your mind, give me a call. 570-290-8151. And if you want 2 podcast episodes a week, instead of a measly one, you can do that as well by heading over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/JeffK. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get access to the bonus episodes. Every time there's one on the main network, like this one, a few days later, there's another one, full length, it's exactly the same kind of content. It's just for patrons only, though. So there's double if you're not a patron right now, there's a bunch of episodes for you, but there's double that amount if you become a patron, and you can access all of them all the previously recorded ones and all the new ones as they come out. So if you want to double down on this podcast, it's easy to do. Head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/JeffK. And surfreportpod.com is the web home of the podcast. Check that out as well. Expanded show notes, photographs, links, etc., etc. surfreportpod.com. And we're at the end of this thing. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon site. Hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. What in the finger snapping, knuckle cracking, hand wringing shit's going on here?